we push from overhead ambly to manage our time on target because we're time deconflicted for the display tomorrow night. So push from overhead ambly at 4,000 feet and then track towards the Regatta Hotel, which is a common ground for a lot of the aircrew. And then from there we start our descent into the river itself. So looking to get down and level at 250 feet right next to the regatta. And then at that point we're running through a few of the cross checks in the cockpit, making sure all of the systems are serviceable from a rat out, hard, low flying, and everything to keep us safe, because that stretch of the river there's actually no bridges for us to worry about, and we have a fair bit of time to actually make sure that we're good to go and good to set up. From there, immediately looking up and looking ahead at the Park Ridges building, and then as a key feature, and then pitching the nose up, banking to the left, and then immediately tracking out to Victoria Park as one of my turn points, and then from Victoria Park leveling at about 1,000 feet, looking out, and then starting to line up the ground track for the South Bank run. As I'm coming around for that run, I'm getting a pass review from Gasser, letting me know what the next pass is, what our not below altitudes are, and then what the key event or the next event is. And then from there, looking to line up everything, and then more importantly, set my lift vector to descend into the city itself, because I don't want to be caught high and then have to level out high or anything like that. So having those key features to level off down at 250 feet is good to go. And then making sure that I'm also lining up my ground track to make sure that I'm avoiding all the buildings and cranes that are actually on that run. For South Bank itself is what we describe it, where we track from Suncorp to the Gabba, or west to east to describe it. We're descending down, we're looking to track more towards the casino side, and then we're actually looking to fly between the Neville Bonner Bridge and the casino itself. We're at speeds of about 350 knots, which is about 600 to 700 kilometres an hour at that point, and then we put the jet on a knife edge as we go past the Neville Bonner Bridge, pitch back towards South Bank, little check, roll, select max afterburner, and then immediately full backsteer, getting to about 6.5 to 7 G for that, and then looking to point the jet towards Kangaroo Point, and then we come out of afterburner once we've finished that pass itself. From there, deselecting afterburner as I mentioned, and then levelling off at 1,000 feet and immediately rolling to the right, and then starting to look out to pick up our next features and turn points. So there's a few creeks and then a really obvious railway that leads us into the M1, and then from the M1 we can follow that along, and then there's a couple of key buildings that we use to line up the extended centre line for our Kangaroo Point bridge run. And then from there, once again, levelling off and then setting your lift vector into the city. And then for that pass, looking to level off, and then we actually look to aim up the Kangaroo Point Bridge and then the Stanford Plaza as the two features that we want to fly down the middle of. And then we have a not below altitude that we descend to maintain our safe distances from everything. From there, once again, 350 knots, and then we select afterburner just before going past the Kangaroo Point Bridge, immediately bank the jet to the right, and then start to ease the G on, and then looking to go full backseat once again to get 6.5 to 7 G over the top of the Story Bridge. Get a little bit of ecto over the jet as well if the humidity is good. And then from there, deselect burner, and then track back out, and then start to reposition for a east to west run along South Bank. And then for this one, we actually stay a little bit close to the Gabba for that line feature, and then once again descending into the river. This time we don't look to aim to split the gap or anything like that, just because it is a high-speed pass and there's a lot of new development on that side, especially in the new casino. So we look to level off 250 foot above the tallest obstacle, which is one of the bridges, and then we just select full afterburner, accelerate as fast as we can up to 550 knots, but deselecting burner at 500 to keep us safe. For today, we got up to around 490 knots in both of the jets in full afterburner before we pitched up, and then immediately did a brake turn to the right behind the Meriton building there to bleed speed, but then also start pitching us back around for those ground features. From there, we essentially do another complete lap of that, including the South Bank run where we look to go past the casino once again, but then we look to set up for the vertical departure. For the vertical departure itself, it's the same ground track, so all the features running in are exactly the same, but this time we look to be a little bit faster, and then as soon as we get over the river, we select full afterburner and accelerate as fast as we can. At that point, we're looking at about the 400 knots going past the Kangaroo Point Bridge, and then we set the lift vector and then begin the rolling G pull into the vertical, and then we're looking to level off anywhere of up to flight level 150 for that. From there, we roll out, track back to ambly. The adrenaline's pretty high at that point. Most important thing is just leveling off, telling ATC where you are and what altitude you're at, and then making sure that you've got all your ducks in a row coming back into ambly, because the adrenaline was pretty high today, not gonna lie, and it was really easy, and I found the basics of flying after that point, just because your body is calming down from what was such an insane experience. Just going back to basics of like, all right, where am I going? What altitude am I at? What speed am I at? What's my current clearance? I just found it helped me bring me back down and then actually safely land the jet back at ambly after the display.